how to hire virtual assistants and outsource your work inside of your agency as soon as possible. Want to scale your online agency without burning out? Here's the truth. You don't need to do everything yourself. In fact, if you're doing everything yourself, you're already losing. Today I'm going to show you guys how to hire virtual assistants the right way, where to find them, how much to pay them, how to build a system so your agency can run without you, even while you sleep. If you watch this video until the end, I'm going to show you different links of websites where you can find virtual assistants for your agency and how much you should pay them. These are going to be some of the most important things inside of the video. The power of VAs and outsourcing. Almost every job in your agency can be replaced by either a VA or AI. And if you don't start outsourcing now, your competition will. Your job as the owner is to hire slow and fire fast. That means take your time to find the right fit, but the second someone starts costing you money or slowing down your growth, replace them. The right VA will free up your time to focus on sales, partnerships, big moves, instead of getting stuck in the weeds. Who to hire first? You want to hire assistants, managers, executives, and you don't want to hire too fast. Your assistants to do repetitive, low-skill tasks, posting content, answering messages, data entry, creating accounts, doing posting, creating spreadsheets, all these different things for you. Then you want to have managers. Once you have a few virtual assistants working for you, you should manage them yourselves. Eventually, promote the best one to be a manager. And you have one virtual assistant that's outperforming all the other ones, and they're going to manage the other virtual assistants that you hire. And then to go even further, you can get them to eventually train your new virtual assistants. Everyone should work their way up. Never hand someone a manager or executive title without having them prove themselves first. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is where to find great VAs. Because I know it can be really hard finding good staff. People are scamming you. You don't know who to trust. You might have got burned in the past by hiring the wrong VA. Now I'm going to tell you where to find good VAs and then how to hire them. Okay, so the next step, where to find them. Okay, there's a few different websites, okay? You can get it through onlinejobs.ph, Facebook groups, and if you go online, there's different websites. Just search up hire a virtual assistant from Nigeria, Europe, India. There's different websites for all these different locations. So just do your research, maybe ask ChatGPT where to find them. You could also run paid ads. Ask your VAs if they have any friends. You can ask your referral network if they know anyone. Go on Fiverr, Upwork, also Telegram networks are really good for hiring. I hire a lot of people off of Telegram. And there's also VA outsourcing agencies if you ever want to go on scale and have them manage your team of VAs for you. You can just hire an agency to do it for you depending on what you would rather do. You'll make a lot more money though, you just hire them yourselves. Okay, the next thing is wages by region. Okay, so you can hire a really cheap virtual assistant to do a crappy job, where you can hire a better one that speaks better English. You need to identify what your job is and who can do it, okay? So do they have to have good English? If yes, you need to hire someone with an English degree. You need to hire someone that's probably above 25 years old. You need to put out your requirements before you hire them. The reason why I'm explaining this, because depending on their skill set and their level, you have to pay them more, because it's just how the labor market works. So for example, you have someone from Nigeria that his job is to grab posts from a content calendar and post it on a browser. You can pay him $150 to $300 a month, and he'll work for you full time. But if you want a Nigerian to go out and close high ticket sales for you and cold call 8 hours a day that has perfect English and is closing you sales, you might have to pay him $500 to $1,000 per month, depending on what city he lives in. Maybe he lives in the village, maybe he lives in Lagos, Nigeria. So the guy from Lagos, Nigeria, the rent is higher, so you have to pay him more as well, but you might get higher quality of work. Same goes for Philippines. Philippines is another very good place to hire from. Nigeria, I would say, is very underrated. But the next is Philippines. Philippines, you can pay someone anywhere from $400 USD to $1,000 USD per month, full time. If you're paying over $1,000 USD per month, just make sure they're earning it. Make sure you're getting a large return on investment, because that's a lot of money for a Filipino person. The next place is Serbia, Romania, anywhere in Eastern Europe, Germany, anywhere in Europe basically. They have very good English, very good education systems, good morals in their life. You have to pay them anywhere from $600 USD to $1,500 USD. So it's a bit more expensive, but you got much better work, and it's almost like hiring an American or a Canadian for your business. Basically, look at what job you have to do, look at your budget, and just go from there. But either way, you should hire an assistant to take away the low value tasks in your life. So the hiring process, I'm going to tell you guys the best way to hire, because you have to hire slowly, and you have to make sure you actually give every candidate a shot, and make sure you hear them out, and you interview them and hire the best ones, because you don't want to hire idiots inside your business, okay? So if you have any red flags, just cut them out right away. Don't even interview them. So basically, create a Google form or a Notion form, add all of your questions, ask ChatGPT to make you a list of 20 or 30 questions. Filter through them in your spreadsheet. So you can even get ChatGPT, this is what I do, is to analyze all of the applicants. I send them the CSV file, and I say, rate these guys on a scale of 1 to 10. It gives them a rating score on the best candidates. Then let's say you have 50 applicants, you send the top 10 interview, you send them an email with a link to book a link to your calendar on a certain day of the week. Then you interview all of them. In the spreadsheet, you want to create questions you ask them on the interview and get a presentation, and just take them through the presentation with the job roles, expectations, questions about the personal life, and just write down all the notes you can. Pick the favorite ones to hire. And you want to put them on a paid trial, don't have them on like free trials or anything like that, because you're not going to get good staff by doing free trials with employees. Use Google Meet or Zoom, Discord to verify identity. All you have to do face-to-face calls, so that's good. And make sure, I keep on saying this, hire slow, fire fast. If someone's causing problems, is not a good employee, they're not going to just fire them, you know? They'll do better in another company. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is SOPs and systems. You can't outsource without a clear SOP unless you're hiring like a manager, or it depends on the role, okay? I wrote this down in my presentation, but I disagree and agree. You want to give them SOPs, but you also want them to come and build and like teach you new things depending on the position. But you always want to have like a good SOP if you need them to take away repetitive tasks from you, which you need a VA to do. It depends on what you're hiring for, but if you want a good VA, SOPs, you can create them on Notion. I like Notion. You can share them a link. You can give them access to the Notion. You can have an SOP with like drop downs. If you actually want to see how to use Notion to create databases, check out my other YouTube videos. But yeah, you want to create SOPs on Notion and share with your VAs. The better the SOP, the less they'll ask you questions. Okay, also when creating your SOPs, I got this information from this book by Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time. You have to create 3 training videos on the actual repetitive task itself, because sometimes the scenarios are a little bit different. And you want to have a step-by-step plan, fully in-depth on exactly what to do, have to do it in paper. And then you also have to have, if it's a repetitive task, you have to tell them how many times to repeat it and when to repeat it. These are the 3 things you need to do when creating SOPs and systems and giving it to different VAs to make sure they can do it efficiently. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is payments and contracts. You don't need contracts with them, but you can do contracts if you want. If you have confidential information, you're buying them supplies like phones and computers, you want to have contracts. You can pay them with PayPal, which I do not recommend. Wise money transfer is really good for Filipinos and Asians. You can use Payoneer and crypto. Crypto is really good for Nigerians and even people in Europe. Crypto is really good. Crypto is the future. So I pay most of my guys with either Wise or crypto. You can do wire transfer, you can do checks, whatever you want, you know. And there's also third-party softwares you can use as well if you're to do payroll. In my business, I don't do it because we use like crypto. You can contact these websites and they have international banks, and then you can do like wire transfer directly to them. A lot of the things I explained in this video came from the book Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. I will drop a video on this book and some of the things I've learned as well. But right now, I'll give you guys some more tips when hiring and training your leadership team and your VA team. So now I'm going to touch back on the topic of buying back your time and hiring an assistant to do certain things for you. So I'll tell you different use cases of what you can use a virtual assistant for. Okay, so you want to time block your day, and for like 1 or 2 days or a week or 2 weeks, track what you do every single 30 minutes or every single hour or even every 15 minutes. Track down. Then you're going to see like what bad habits you have, what good habits you have, where you waste a lot of time, where you get your most productive time done, and you're going to be able to know exactly what your schedule is like, so you can plan your schedule ahead of time. You're going to want to find everything there that someone else can do, and you want to try to hire a VA to do all those things, and you want to train them to do it, and then you're going to have more spot on your calendar to do the higher value stuff. So you want to be able to focus your time on the highest value thing. And in my opinion, your highest value thing is marketing and personal branding. So like what I try to do is I try to delegate everything else, and I try to do marketing and personal branding for my business, because the traffic in my business, like the new customers, the more eyes and attention we get, the more sales we make, and we have the salespeople, and then it's like a big funnel, you know. And the same with most businesses. The more customers you have, the better you do, and the more bigger your personal brand is, the more views you get to and clients. So you want to like make your calendar as open as possible by outsourcing these things and then filling it back up and just repeating this over and over again. To use this, you can just do it as Google Sheets, Google Spreadsheet. I'll drop you a screenshot on the screen of like how I did it for a couple of weeks. Don't mind my bad habits. I'm like crossing them out so you don't see it. You can also have your VAs schedule your calendar for you, and let's say you have Notion, like a task manager, you can just give them all the tasks and they'll add it to your calendar for you. And then they'll handle your meetings, they'll give you reminders every single day. In the morning, you talk to them in the morning and they'll make, what do I have on the agenda for today? You have to do this, this, and this, and this, and then you get it done. You kind of want to have your calendar looking like this. In the book, here's like one very important quote as well, is if you want to have a high performance team, you must know how to coach successfully. So don't just hire VAs and expect them to like solve everything properly if you don't make SOPs and coach them how to get strategy. Alright, I'm going to wrap this video up now, and thank you guys for watching. If you got some value, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out my other videos. I drop a lot of things on like business and leadership, books, some other businesses. I'm involved in a lot of different things. Make sure you guys really go out and hire some VAs, as you're going to really change your life, change your business, and help you outsource some things. If you're at a level where you don't need VAs, hire some in-person staff and take the same systems, which is usually with in-person staff. Yeah, have fun scaling.